takes it in overtime. Brady Tkachuk, breakaway shoots, scores!
Welcome to Sens Talk. My name is Brandon and I am your host tonight. Ottawa took on the Carolina Hurricanes in a massive game. Leevi Merilainen makes his NHL debut in his first ever NHL start, which was awesome to see. He played fantastic. But before we get to that, a few things. Firstly, I'm wearing the Who Wants It shirt. Ottawa, we'll talk about it in the game notes, might be eliminated officially from playoff contention on Thursday. Might be my last opportunity to wear this shirt with the Senators, potentially still able to make the playoffs, because on Thursday, it's the second night of Passover. I'll be doing a Seder, so because of that, I won't be able to do a video more likely than not. So you probably won't see me on Thursday, so I wanted to wear this at least one more time when the Senators are still potentially able to make the postseason. Once again, shout out to Doodle and Daryl for this shirt. Now, Ottawa, the 2020 draft, look, all the draft experts, I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying this as well, all the draft experts back in 2020 were clowning the Ottawa Senators with their draft in 2020. Now look, tonight, 6 players are on the current roster and play tonight from that 2020 draft. Stützle, Sanderson, Riley Gregg, Tyler Kleven, Igor Sokolov, and Leevi Merilainen. By the way, Igor Sokolov recalled for tonight's game. I believe an emergency recall. Looked like Dylan Gambrell might be hurt. But yeah, I mean, everyone that clowned the Ottawa Senators for their draft in 2020 are very silent as of late, and they should be. They don't know anything, to be honest with you. 6 players after 3 years, or, removed 3 years after the draft, in your NHL roster is unbelievable. It's great scouting and great drafting by the Sens organization, as usual. That's why I learned my lesson with Brady Tkachuk back in like 2018 or 2017, whatever it was, because I wanted Zadina then, and thankfully I was wrong about that. So trust the people that are in charge. Don't listen to the draft experts. That's the lesson I learned, and I hope those draft experts learned the same lesson. Now, Leevi Merilainen will be the 7th goaltender to start for Ottawa this season, which is really insane if you think about it. I mean, in 2018-2019, Ottawa had 6 different starters, but 7 is actually bazonkers. And this is only 3 days removed after his professional North America debut, where he had a 4-0 win against the Toronto Marlies, a 41-save shutout. And yeah, we'll talk about it in the game notes, but Leevi Merilainen looked fantastic. And once again, that 2020 draft, just so beautiful, so beautiful. So let's go to the first period of play, and 2 minutes in, it's Finnish on Finnish violence as Kasperi Kotkaniemi deflects one past Merilainen and in glove side. No chance for Levi, and it's 1-0 Carolina 2 minutes in. Not exactly the best start for Ottawa, who is absolutely getting walked on by Carolina early on. But after that, Ottawa would settle down. They would start, go toe-to-toe with Carolina. They'd start to play much more strong defensively and offensively. I mean, the shots in the first 5 or 6 minutes, I think, were like 8-1 Carolina. They were all over Ottawa. Merilainen was forced early to make some big stops. Early one as well on Brent Burns is one I remember early on. And then with about 4 or 5 minutes left in the first period of play, Carolina would capitalize again and make it 2-0. This is another one where Leevi Merilainen, frankly, had no chance to stop it. And it comes off a controversial call by the refs on Patrick Brown, who was knocked down by the Canes player. And then as he was falling down, his stick hit him in the face. So frankly, the Canes player should have been called for a hooking or a holding. But instead, it was Patrick Brown getting the penalty. Of course, on this power play, Carolina would score. And I saw Dean Brown and Bruce Garriock calling out the refs tonight, too, on Twitter. It's not just me. The refs tonight were actually terrible. But with about 14 seconds left on this double minor power play that frankly shouldn't have been called, Jay, from the point, rips a glove side past Leevi Merilainen on a curl drag shot, 2-0. I love the curl drag shots from defensemen along the blue line. I think they look smooth. Unfortunately, this one was against the Ottawa Senators, though. However, Ottawa would challenge this one for a missed call 30 seconds prior to the goal. It looked like the Carolina player might have tipped it with a high stick. I thought he did. A lot of people on Twitter thought he did as well. The refs disagreed. The challenge was nullified. Good goal, confirmed, and Ottawa would have to go on the power play after that. So it was 6 minutes of power play time for Carolina. But luckily, Leevi Merilainen carried Ottawa, and we go to the second period of play, only down by 2. It's a 2-0 game. And yeah, look, I mean, that was a controversial penalty there on Patrick Brown. It can go either way, whatever, but the missed call by the refs on that high stick after they reviewed it, it's absurd to me. Clearly it was high stick. You could see the puck touch the stick and then ricochet down. That doesn't just happen. It's basic physics. It's not going to just avert down suddenly. It clearly was deflected. But once again, back to Leevi Merilainen. He looked fantastic tonight, especially in that first period when Ottawa was absolutely getting walked on by Carolina. 10 shots he stopped on 12 he faced. He was tracking the puck very well. No large rebounds as well. I've been very impressed with his play. And he's younger than me, okay? Take that in. He's 20 years old. He's younger than me. 3 days ago, he was starting in the AHL. Now he's in the NHL against one of the best teams in the National Hockey League. Tough test for him, but he's looked good early on. Let's get to the second period of play, and this is where Ottawa would start chipping away at the Carolina lead. 11 minutes in on the power play. Meow man, Alex DeBrincat with a beautiful pass to Claude Giroux in the slot. He makes no mistake about it. 2-1 game now as Ottawa strikes. It's a 2-1 game with Claude Giroux's 30th of the year. He scored 30 goals now for the first time since 2017-2018. Ottawa has 4 30-goal scorers for the first time since 2007-2008. And Ottawa, going to the third period of play, is only down by 1 after early on in the first period of play. It looked like Ottawa, frankly, would be down by more than 2-0. Now it's a 2-1 game. They're back into it, and Leevi Merilainen's a huge part of this. Going to the third period of play, only down 2-1. Leevi Merilainen and that glove hand, that glove hand looked fantastic. And he made some huge stops in that second period. There was a few power plays as well for Carolina in that second period again as well. So I was really once again impressed with Leevi Merilainen. He's so, athletic, very quick and responsive to the puck. His push-offs from post to post are very good, so he's usually right on the money to get positionally sound and, be angled properly to the shooter. So, I mean, for a 20-year-old making his NHL debut against one of the best teams in the National Hockey League on short notice, he looked fantastic no matter the result. And he was the big reason why Ottawa was even in this going to the third period of play. And Ottawa, look, there's a few penalties like I mentioned that second period of play. Ottawa had to get a makeup call, and they would get it 3 minutes in to the third period of play. And on that power play, a couple minutes into the third period, Alex DeBrincat again. That second line, all the guys on that second line tonight were contributing for the Ottawa Senators, and a great pass here from Meow Man as he double dips in the milk for an assist as he passes an unbelievable feed to Brady Tkachuk. Tie game 2-2 on the power play for Tkachuk's 35th goal of the season, and Ottawa suddenly ties it. It's 2-2, and once again, thanks to Leevi Merilainen, Ottawa had a chance to tie it, and they take advantage, and they do. Brady Tkachuk on a beautiful pass here from Alex DeBrincat. Sign that, man. It's 2-2. And after that, Ottawa and Carolina would exchange chances. Raanta for the Carolina Hurricanes made some huge stops. And same thing with Leevi Merilainen, especially in the last few minutes when Carolina was swarming. Stopped some huge opportunities for Carolina. I mean, once again, that glove hand was looking fantastic. And more importantly, just his confidence to come out, challenge the shooter, and gobble the puck. He's not giving up big rebounds, as you often see with young goaltenders who are a little nervous, a little off the angle. He looked really positionally sound tonight. And once again, with that athleticism, I mean, this goaltender has a lot of great potential. And he's only 20 years old, and, goaltenders are known for being late bloomers, but I mean, I don't want to get too excited here, but the numbers he put up in, Liga in Finland, and he was with one of the best goalie coaches there that worked with Pekka Rinne at a time, I believe. I saw that on Twitter just now. 41 save shutout in Belleville. I mean, this guy has a great pedigree already. He's younger than me, which is unbelievable, and he's the reason this game is going to overtime, and Ottawa gets a solid point that, once again, look, I'm wearing this shirt because Ottawa technically has a chance to make the playoffs, but more likely than not, they're not going to. They have a 0.1% chance of making the playoffs in the last 5 games of the season, this being the 5th last of the year. But look, the 1 point that they get, hopefully get 2 in overtime, but the 1 point gives Ottawa a bit of breathing room for another day or so to avoid elimination. But their game on Thursday against Florida is a big one. We'll talk about that in the game notes, because in overtime, 3.5 minutes in, Tim Stützle turns over the puck. And after that, Ottawa didn't really get the puck back. And I just wanted to mention that because Tim Stützle is such a dynamic player, but you have to be far more careful, Timmy, in overtime with the puck. That's back-to-back games now where your turnover led to a goal. The one against Columbus on Sunday, that one was more egregious, a direct result. This one, not as much. It was a minute or so later after the turnover as he kind of lost it entering the offensive zone. But you just have to be more careful with the puck because Ottawa did not recover after that. They iced the puck, and Carolina ended up just taking advantage of it, taking all the momentum, and winning it in overtime as Seth Jarvis splits the defenders as Tkachuk and Sanderson leaves a lane right open for Necas, who walks and snipes it bar down. Carolina wins in overtime, 3-2 in overtime, as the Ottawa Senators now are only 5 points out of a playoff spot, but only have 4 games remaining. So, I mean, once again, too little too late here. The 1 point, I guess, is nice to stave off elimination for another day or so potentially, but I mean, realistically, Ottawa needed the 2 points tonight to have any chance at somehow miraculously making the playoffs. The 1 point is just delaying the inevitable, which we'll talk about in a second. But what I want to talk about right now is Leevi Merilainen, who looked incredible tonight. 34 saves on 37 shots, frankly deserved the win. The only reason Ottawa even got a point tonight. Just an unbelievable story for this kid. Dominated in Liga, got that shutout in Belleville the other day against the Marlies, and now 34 saves on 37 shots as a 20-year-old in your NHL debut against one of the top teams in the National Hockey League is an incredible performance. I would expect him to be the AHL starter next year, no doubt. Him and Mandolese, I think, would be a great tandem for Belleville next year. Sogard probably should get the promotion and be a part of the tandem up here in the NHL. But yeah, what an incredible performance by Leevi Merilainen. I am so impressed. I didn't have any expectations for this one, to be honest with you. I think Merilainen's a fantastic prospect. Might even be the future goaltender of your Ottawa Senators for years to come. But he's 20 years old against one of the top teams in the National Hockey League. I didn't expect anything. If he would have stopped 20, 30 shots and, didn't give up more than 5 goals, I would have been happy. This is just an incredible performance and exceeds all expectations I had for him. And once again, like I've already mentioned a few times, goalies are late bloomers. The fact he's doing this at such a young age, looks technically sound, is athletic and positionally sound, challenging the shooters, no big rebounds. It's great. It's just a really great sign for what's potentially to come for Leevi Merilainen's future. Now, Ottawa's second line, as I kind of alluded to already, was fantastic tonight. Now, of course, DeBrincat got 2 apples, one of those on the power play, the Tkachuk one in the third period of play. But Claude Giroux got a goal. Really great got an assist. That line contributed on each goal tonight for the Ottawa Senators. So they played fantastic. I had to give them a bit of a shout out. And I mean, Claude Giroux, I put this on Twitter. I still can't believe he's an Ottawa Senator. I have to pinch myself every single time I even see him on the ice. It's awesome to watch a future potential Hall of Famer on your Ottawa Senator. It's just unbelievable to me. I still can't believe it. But, Claude Giroux, 30 goals for the first time in like 4 or 5 years. It's great. But the off-the-ice stuff from Claude Giroux, this is now 2 or 3 games in a row where Claude Giroux has been caught by the TSN camera guys, was talking to the rookies on the bench. The other day was Tim Stützle calming him down. Today was Igor Sokolov. And Claude Giroux is such an important mentor and leader in that locker room. And even if he's not contributing, that would have been the case. And that would have been so valuable to begin with, regardless if he was contributing or not. That would have been worth the contract, in my opinion, because the experience, the leadership that he's bringing to one of the youngest teams in the National Hockey League is, frankly, irreplaceable. Regardless of how Claude Giroux does, and this is my point, Claude Giroux's off-the-ice intangibles and his leadership qualities and traits is going to rub off in a great way for our young prospects. So, Claude Giroux, congratulations on 30 goals, and he's only 4 points away now from 1,000 NHL points as well. 4 games left. It's definitely possible. We'll keep an eye on that. And really, Greg, he looked fantastic tonight, especially early on. Ranta made a couple of huge stops on him, but I think this might have been really Greg's best NHL performance without a doubt. Now, besides that, I'll leave it off with this. The Senators are officially on elimination watch. A loss in any fashion against the Florida Panthers on Thursday will end our season officially. Even if we win in overtime, Florida won tonight. That means if we win in overtime on Thursday, 7 points out of a playoff spot. So to stay alive past Thursday, the Ottawa Senators must win in regulation against Florida. So that's a massive one. Frankly, could be the season ender. We shall see. But Florida, I'm looking at the standings right now, has skyrocketed to first in the wild card race at 87. New York Islanders as well. Second place in the wild card, holding the last spot with 87 points, which proves my point. No matter what, Ottawa will be eliminated without a regulation win on Thursday. And then Pittsburgh as well, 86 points in third place. So, look, Ottawa, they're in a position now where they have to win, and they need Pittsburgh and Florida to lose. Even if Ottawa wins out, if Florida and Pittsburgh win 2 more games, they're done regardless. So, we're at that stage in the year, but I think it's awesome that we're still talking playoffs and it's early April. So besides that, I'll leave it at that. Thank you all for watching. I will try to make a video on Thursday, but no guarantee. Obviously, the holiday comes first. But potentially, I'll see you Thursday. If not, I will see you on Saturday against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Besides that, thank you all for watching. Appreciate your support. Go Sens, go.